Welcome to episode 131 of Sport SA Daily Diary. Today we're chatting to double world champion, South African high jumper, Hestrie Cloete else. Good afternoon, Hestrie, or sort of good evening for you now. You're in all the way in New Zealand. How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing great. It's about 6:33 p.m. on a Thursday night in New Zealand, and yeah, I'm doing great. Thank you.
Did I sense a slight New Zealand twang there?
Ah, I think after being almost 13 years in New Zealand, you're starting to pick up some of the, let's say, bad habits.
Yeah, that's certainly a bad habit. But great to chat to you. Thank you for joining us today. Looking forward to hearing your story. Hestrie, I mean, you had a remarkable career, but you kind of just disappeared off the planet of the Earth, really, when you were at your peak. But let's go back to Hestrie as a young girl. Grew up in Coligny and went to Lichtenberg High School. Were you always very active in terms of sport and participation?
I think I would call myself the adrenaline junkie, and I always strive to be better and just reach my own potential, like being better myself. And I think that's why I was an athlete doing 800, 400, high jump, long jump. And at the end, I went to high jump because it almost feel like you can reach your top. I don't think just better with high jump. It's like you've got opportunities to go higher.
Well, certainly you can jump as high as you want, really. And were you playing team sports at this point at all, or was it just sort of athletics that was your focus?
I did do netball also in high school, also in primary school. In high school, my coach's wife, Martin Marks, was my coach, and his wife were coaching the first netball team. And obviously, she wanted me in a netball team because I did play for Stellaland when it was around those days. And obviously my coach were running up and down and make sure my ankles were strapped and I'm not getting injured, because high jump was obviously my first love, but I also enjoyed doing a team sport.
You must have caused much argument between the Marks family then.
Well, I hope not. They're still together after these years, so it wasn't too bad.
All due to your success, I'm sure. And Hestrie, I mean, I've heard or sort of done a bit of research, and apparently you were quite a strong-minded athlete, even at that young age. And Malcolm Marks was your coach, and that's it.
Yeah, I think both of us actually grew together into the high jump. We all did well, between the two of us, we did research, and for him being my coach and for me to trust him, and I think just having him from school age and trusting him while I was still young and I went to boarding school, I think it was a great opportunity for both of us just to grow together into the international field, and we just made a great team. I'm not really good with a lot of changes, and I struggle to trust people and to open up to them. And I think as soon as you've got someone that you relate with, why change if a recipe is working?
Absolutely, and you guys were together for a long time. And Hestrie, when did you kind of realize, okay, I'm actually quite good at this high jump. I can scale pretty much anything, and we can take this further?
I think after winning my first Commonwealth medal and the international agents started recognizing me, that's when both me and my coach Martin decided, okay, maybe I need to go into Europe and see how I fit in there and what I can accomplish. And like any athlete, no matter what sport you're doing, your aim is to go to the Olympics. Your aim is to work in a 4-year plan, go to the Olympics, and that is the ultimate, is to get a gold medal or a medal, or for some people just be there, for some just being in a final. And I think I needed to know that if I can compete internationally with that group of people, then obviously that's my first stepping stone for the Olympic Games.
Well, I mean, you certainly did compete with those people. Before you got that Commonwealth gold, though, you got your All Africa gold, which you repeated twice. Your Africa Champs gold, you got 3 times. Commonwealth gold, you got twice, which is pretty phenomenal. Tell us a bit about those periods, though, excluding the World Champs and Olympics, because those are extra special. So I'd like to just find out of the Commonwealth and the All Africas, those moments again must have been pretty special. Standing on that top step, hearing the South African anthem, knowing that you were the best in Africa, the best in the Commonwealth. I mean, that's quite a feat to have.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that for us, that was short-term goals, and yeah, it is great to have them. Not, I think my competition was quite a lot Commonwealth, not a lot in Africa. I would say more Commonwealth for me, and obviously Europe. That's where the strongest competitors normally were for me.
And then you got to the Olympics, your first Olympics in 2000, and you won silver. Tell us a bit about those Olympics. I mean, it must be quite like amazing feeling to firstly be at the Olympics, then maybe make the final, and then you're on the podium. I mean, for a young girl from Lichtenberg High School to now all of a sudden be on the podium of the Olympics, it's huge.
Yeah, I was disappointed in 1996 when I made the B qualifying standard. That was for Atlanta, and I didn't choose me to go to the Olympics because I thought, oh, I'm so ready to be in the Olympics, and I trained so hard. No one else made it. So out of my point of view, that would have been nice to go to the Olympics just to have a sort of feeling to know what a big crowds feel like, and to be at the opening ceremony, just experience it. And I think then for the next one, I would assume that most of the stress is off you. You had a feeling for it, and then you can go for medals. So obviously that didn't happen in 96 for me. So I needed to go to 2000. And I went into 2000 just to experience it, just to be there, just to enjoy it, have a feel for it. For me, the aim was obviously to get into the final. And from the final, whatever happened will happen. And obviously I got my first silver, and I was pretty surprised with that because that wasn't part of the plan. But I'm great. I'm very pleased that I got one.
I think the whole of South Africa was surprised but absolutely overjoyed. Actually, did you use that disappointment of 96 to motivate you further for 2000?
Yes, for sure. For sure. I wanted to show myself and everyone else that didn't select me for that first one, say, hey, I'm someone that needed to be part of the team, and I will show you what I'm made of. And I wanted to leave a footprint, and I think I did.
Yes, you certainly did. And history, there are sportsmen in the world that have sort of strange little quirks before they serve, or before they kick a ball, or before they do a high jump. Obviously, Rafa Nadal has got his twitchy whatever. You also had a bit of a strange quirk before you used to do every jump. Tell us a bit about that and why, and did it calm you down, or?
Well, for me, it was just so printed into my mind what I need to do before every jump. And it was just reminding myself that I need to have my knees up. I need to get into my rhythm, and my last 3 steps need to be quick, and I need to lean in with my right shoulder. So for me, it was just doing the jump before I'm actually running, just to, because it's happening so quick in high jump that you can obviously just 1/2 a meter out, and you can be a bit too far from the bar, a bit too close to the bar. So it's just running the jump through my mind, and then obviously close my eyes, pray, and then I will go.
And I believe at this point you were also smoking a pack of cigarettes every day. That's a different sort of thing to do for a top Olympic athlete.
I did quit in the meantime, just so everyone knows. It's more than 14 years now. But I think for me, it was, if someone tell me you cannot do it, then I will show them I can. And if someone can tell me you cannot smoke and jump high, I told them I can.
Proved them.
And I think the sport can be very lonely traveling in Europe. Like, you're pretty much on your own most of the time. And maybe that was just my friend while I was traveling in Europe.
Keeping you companion. 2001 World Champs. You went one better, and you got onto that top step. That must have been unreal.
Yeah, that was one amazing feeling. I must say, this is also a kickback from 99 for me, from World Champs, that I call it a ghost of Seville, where I was ranked number one about 2 or 3 weeks just before World Championships. I went home and went back very confident, like, I'm number one, no one can touch me. And I obviously didn't make the final. So for me, that was also in the back of my head when I went to 2000 Olympics, because obviously I needed to take it step by step, like, yeah, qualify for the Olympics, qualify for the final, and then you can start thinking about medals. And I think you need to fall somewhere in sport to appreciate those small little milestones that you need to reach before you can get your medal. So yeah, 2001 was pretty impressive. I was very stoked with my gold medal at a World Champs.
Sure, you must have been. There's not many people that can call themselves world champions, and I mean, you can do it twice. Never mind once, but twice. You repeated it again in 2003. You can't meet people like that who can call themselves a double world champion, and for the fact that you were the first woman ever to defend the high jump world title. So you are holding records here that no other woman has ever done on the planet, never mind just in Germiston or Johannesburg or South Africa.
Yeah, I'm very humble about my second one. I did work really hard that year, and my goal was to get closer to the world record. And yes, I wish the bar was on 210 when I jumped my 206, because I did clear the bar for sure, higher than 206 on that, or higher than 210 on my 206 jump. But you cannot turn the clock back, so.
Absolutely. And then you went to another Olympics, but I presume you were a favorite, but walked away with the silver. Was that a disappointment, or was that still, jeepers, I'm at the Olympics, I got a silver medal, it is brilliant?
I think in every athlete's mind, you always wanted to be better than your last Olympics or your last World Championships. And for me, it was make or break. It was either, yes, I get a gold and I might carry on for another 2 or 3 years. And it was a disappointment for me. I did work really hard after 2003, after I jumped the 206, to get first the world champion or the world record. That was my first aim. I had a few chances to jump that in that year. And obviously, I don't want to say too loud, but another Russian beat me. In 2000, it was also a Russian. And well, at the end of that, I needed to do a rain check for myself and obviously with my coach. And I said to him, listen, my long-term goal 4 years from now, can I get a gold medal? What is my chances to get a gold medal? What's my chances to get any medal? And I did weigh it up, and I thought I will be a bit older, and maybe it was just luck to have a second silver at the Olympics. But obviously my luck was running out, and I didn't want it to be remembered as the athlete that stopped because of an injury, or quit because of this, or default, or she didn't make the final. Or so for me it was, let's end on a high and take your silver. 2 silvers is better than 1 gold, I think. And someone was saying on the radio that year, you know what, silver is going with all your clothes, so why do you want a gold?
Very true. I hope you wear that silver out often then. But Hestrie, you were only 25. surely at 29 you can still be jumping 2 meters 10.
I know. I just think the pressure that's also going with it. It's not only the pressure that the media or the fans, or it's the personal pressure you're putting on yourself, and it's a lot of hard work behind the scenes that no one is seeing. And yes, the critic, and I was just ready to be normal. I was ready to just blend in with the crowd and just be normal. I want to go to the mall without makeup on and no one recognize me or stop me for my photo, for my signature. Or I think it was just time. And I think athletes at this level will understand what I mean. And yeah, it's hard, but I'm actually now at a point, like if a South African will bump into me in New Zealand, it's like, oh, history. I'm like, and then I feel uncomfortable because I've been just normal for the last 10 years, and I love it. I mean, I had my time and I enjoyed it, and I love all my fans. I still got fans emailing me and asking me for my signature, and that's fine. I'm fine with that, but I just enjoy being normal.
But can I have your signature? Yeah, is that why essentially you moved to New Zealand?
No. Yeah, no, yes, a little bit of
Then
both.
you should have moved to Alaska or something.
Well, yeah, there's quite a lot of South Africans in New Zealand, I must admit. No, I think the turning point for me was when we got a phone call pretty late at night in South Africa about someone. It was from the high security department of the police, and they said someone wanted to kidnap my daughter for money. And for us, that was like, I think it's time to go. It's
Fair enough.
yeah, and yeah.
No, I fully understand. History, I've had a chat to a few athletes who've won silver and a few who've come fourth. Both incredibly difficult positions to come. Fourth, obviously, you end with nothing. Silver, you obviously second best. You were almost there. To you, which is the more difficult between the two?
I think with second, at least you've got something. With fourth, you've got nothing. But then I would rather take my silver and walk out, or take a last place than a fourth place.
Very true. And History, do you sort of showcase your medals at home, or are they in a box somewhere in the attic?
They've been up in the attic for a few years, and we recently moved houses just before lockdown in New Zealand. We moved houses, and my husband was like, I think it's time for the medals to come out again. So yeah, they back in a cupboard being showcased, and every now and then someone was like, oh, have you been in the Olympics? So yeah, no, they're out in the cupboard again. And the kids obviously had him to school a few times, and we're showing him around. And I spotted the other day that my 2004 medal were dropped on the ground, so there's a little bit of a dent in it, but it's still fine. I think my son is now appreciating those medals, because he was saying to me when he was about 19, he's a very good swimmer, and he said to me, oh, I can go to the Olympics easily. I said, sure enough, Jason. And yeah, he's trying really hard. He can see how difficult it is. And he's actually the best 12-year-old backstroker, 200 and 100 in New Zealand. So brilliant. Yeah, he's doing really well.
That's fantastic news. I hope he's going to be swimming for South Africa and not New Zealand, though.
I'm sorry to break the news, but we've got Kiwi passports now.
So tell me, History, when the Springboks play the All Blacks, who do you support?
I must say, it's a hard one. There's no one that can really beat Dan Carter, so I'm sorry.
Oh, that's a terrible. Where you turn your camera off just for that?
No, actually, I must admit, I'm not one of those people that will get up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the night to watch rugby. It's not me. I would rather go out, buy the newspaper and see who won. I'm not a big rugby fan.
Well, forgive you then for that. Just in closing, I mean, you've had an unbelievable career. Has there been that one moment that was the pinnacle, the standout, the goosebump, the amazing moment that you will remember forever?
I cannot really point out only one. For me, there was a few. Like from the start of my career with my first Commonwealth Games, with my jump off, we had the sudden death, and that was pretty goosebump moment and stressful for me. But I would say my 2 world champ medals and my 2 gold at Olympics is similar for me at this stage. But my best ever feeling, I would say, was when I jumped the 206, and that was clear first jumps every height that I jumped, and I think I'm still ranked 5th, 6th overall with that jump. I would say that one is standing out for me for sure. But yeah, nothing can beat standing on a podium, looking at a screen and hearing your anthem at the background. So yeah, the Olympics and the 2 world champs for sure.
Hestrie, thank you so much for your time. Enjoy your weekend with your son away. It's been great chatting to you on Sport SA Daily Diary, and you will always be a South African icon. Even if you are all the way in the Silver Fern country and you prefer black to green now, you are always South African heart.
Don't say that. South Africa will always be close to my heart. I mean, that's where I was born. It's in my heart, and I think sometimes a swap or a swift or a change of direction is good. And yeah.
No, you'll always be a South African queen. So thank you very much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you so much. And to all my fans that's still out there, no, I still love you dearly. Send me messages. If I don't answer it straight away, it's the time difference in New Zealand. That's why.
Thanks, Hestrie. Take care.
Thanks, Adam.
Be sure not to miss tomorrow's episode of Sport SA Daily Diary, where we chat to a South African hammer thrower who won the national title 23 times.